It's my cue. Playback. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. It is 9:04 on a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's May 31st, last day of May. You know what that means?
I have to order batting today to get this shipping special. That's what it means.
That's what it means.
A lot of batting practice during the summer.
You know the batting that he knows about, and you don't listen in class, do you?
You mean the, what is it, the extra plush or the...
Polyester blend.
Okay, you did listen a little bit in class. You gonna listen today?
I'm always listening.
That depends. What do we have on tap today, Susan?
Well, we were gonna do the sixth part of the blocks.
But we got some other
But
fun stuff that
we
you
have
did.
other fun stuff. The blocks.
You're just keeping everybody
The
hanging.
pattern that I have is copyrighted, and I can't get them to let me do that. So I have two alternatives. I'm going to bring it and show two different ways. We're going to do a paper pieced, and we're also going to do a regular pieced, which is the rest of the quilt was regular pieced, but we're going to be introduced to paper piecing.
Paper piecing.
Friday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's a new thing, and you got to kind of think backwards on that. But what I brought today was two things. One, I'm going to do at very end, and it's some things coming up in Hyderhangout that I found out at market, and some giveaways,
Oh,
good things. And the other thing is, all this pile here, see all this?
yes.
We're talking about pre-cuts.
Pre-cuts. Now,
Pre-cuts.
Is that like what it sounds like?
They're cut for you, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I have a poster, and I think we can, okay. And I don't know if we need to get closer or go to the close-up.
Let's see. Joshua?
We'll probably need to go to the close-up.
We've
But
lost
I have
Joshua.
along,
Oh, let's go over here to the close-up. Josh.
yeah, because it's hard to see. Okay, pre-cuts. I have along the edge here some names, and I'll show you. I have some of these with me. Now, the original names came from Moda Bake Shop, and that's what they called it, Moda Bake Shop. And further back, charm packs originated way back in the 1800s. So a mini charm is 2.5-inch squares, and a regular charm is 5-inch squares. The regular charms, what they call charms, is like you have a charm bracelet and you have one different one of each one. So the original charms was everybody traded their fabric with each other so they could have a charm quilt, and they would have like however many squares. If they had 200 squares in it and they wanted 200 different ones, so they would trade with everybody in their town or trade as they went across the United States in the wagon train so that they would get 200 different ones. Now we have the mini charms, which are just the charms cut into fours. Jelly roll, which is 2.5-inch by width of fabric. Now width of fabric is selvage to selvage, and this poster here is not to scale. But width of fabric, most of the quilt fabric is anymore 43 to 45 inches wide. So when you have the jelly rolls, and different companies call them different things, but Moda came up with the word jelly roll.
Okay.
And it's 2.5-inch strips by your width of fabric, and most of them have 40 to 42 in a jelly roll.
Okay.
Sometimes you have a half jelly roll. Other companies call them different things, and I'll show you some examples here. Then a jelly bar is 5-inch strips by 10-inch strips. And then a layer cake is 10-inch squares. And tasty tidbits, or that's what we call them in Hyderhangout, but Moda calls them candy bars.
Okay.
But tasty tidbits are 2.5-inch by 5-inch strips. Honey buns is 1.5-inch strips. And that's supposed to be a honey roll, not a jelly roll. Honey roll is 5-inch by width of fabric. And I've got some of those here.
And WOF is width
Width
of fabric.
Selvage to selvage. Okay, let's go right here. This one first.
I hope I don't fail this test. I think I'm going to fail
I'm
this
going to
one.
fold this so it will.
Right. I'm
yeah,
starving.
You know, food with you, yeah. Okay, You have your width of fabric, which is about 44 inches, and your selvages, and this is supposed to be 36 inches here, 1 yard. When you cut it in half, you have a half yard, and that's 18 inches. When you cut that in half, you have a 1/4 yard, and you cut that 1/4 yard in half, you have the 1/8 of a yard, and then you cut that 1/8 of a yard in half, you have a 1/16 of a yard. Now, most typical quilt shops won't cut anything smaller than a 1/4 yard. We'll cut you anything you want. If you want 15 pieces of fabric and you only want a 1/16 of a yard, that's 2 1/4 inch wide strips by your width of your fabric. Now, to make it more usable, we have this side here. And of course, we have the half yard here. Now, remember we throw around the word fat quarters and fat 1/8 and fat 1/16. Well, a fat quarter, it's 18 inches, and it's cut in half this way. So it's still a 1/4 of a yard. You get 4 in a yard, okay? But it's a fat quarter. So it's bigger, it's easier to use, you get more things out of it. And you cut that in half, and you have a fat 1/8. And you cut that in half, and you had a fat 1/16. So the fat 1/16 is 9 inches by 11 inches, which if you wanted to cut out some applique flowers or something like that, it'd be bigger than over here where you have a 1/16 of a yard, but it's only 2 1/4 inches wide.
Right.
So depending on what you're doing, if you're doing sashing, the stuff that goes in between the squares, you could use maybe these. But this here makes it better. So we have 1/16, fat 1/16, fat 1/8. And now we're going to sit down and look at some of these. And so we're going to go back over here to...
Hooray.
Can we go to here?
There we go.
Okay, here's your fat quarter. It's 1/4 of a yard. And it's pretty good size.
Mm-hmm.
If you fold it in half this way, that's your fat 1/8.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fold it in half this way, and that's your fat 1/16. It looks pretty big, but rather than thinking about getting a little skinny, you know.
Well, it definitely you did mention that the diagram was not to scale.
Right.
So it definitely looks much larger when you see it
Right.
in real life. So you definitely get your bang for your buck.
Right. Now, I'm going to show some. This is a fat quarter pack, and it's children themed. And this particular pack, they come in packs or they come in singles. You come in the shop, and some people only shop for fat quarters, and they get, they have a theme they're looking for. But this is a particular theme, and this is children theme. And this is a 12 pack. So it's got 12 different fat quarters. This one has 2 of each 6 colors. So you get 6 different colors,
Mm-hmm.
and it ends up being half a yard each, but they're fat quarters. Or you can come and buy a whole bunch of different fat quarters. Like if you want a whole bunch of different batiks or something, you can just pick up a bunch of different ones and buy them like that. Now we have our fat 1/8, and some people in their shop fold their fat quarters in triangles. Some of them just fold them like this in the cardboard, and that's what we fold our fat quarters in cardboards, and then our fat 1/8s are folded like this. So this is a fat 1/8, and we got a whole little bin. And if you just need a little something, so there's fat 1/8. And this particular pattern is, what does it look like?
Snakeskin.
Snakeskin. Pretty cool, huh? Mm-hmm. So that's a fat 1/8. And a lot of the girls from Lee University come in and get these to make their Greek letters. That's plenty enough for the Greek letters. So you just need a little bit. You got it. Okay, let's do charms. Mini charm. And typically they have 40 pieces. Sometimes they'll have a charm with 100 pieces. But what it usually is collections by a designer have anywhere from 6 to 26, 27 different patterns. So they give you a little bit of each of their collection. So you have, this one has 40. This is the particular one that we made in Hyderhangout, and this is a child one. Or actually, I think it's ocean, because it got boats and crabs and hermit crabs.
Cool.
So anyway, this is a charm pack, mini charm pack, and there are patterns that are friendly for each one of these. Like it'll say fat quarter friendly, charm pack friendly, mini charm friendly. So this is a mini charm. This is a charm pack, and this particular one has Star Wars. Which
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and this is pretty cool. It's got flames and different stuff. And that's 5-inch, so you could put 4 of these in there. Or you could use them together. And then this is a 10-inch square. We have half layer cakes, or we just call them squares, 10-inch squares, square packs. It's escaping me what some of the other companies call them. But this one has 20 in it, but they typically have 40 to 42 in them.
Wow. It's a lot of
And-
different options.
Yeah, and this one just has 3 different colors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's folded up. It's got a red and a purple, and then the Native American pattern. Okay, and this is the 5-inch by Width of Fabric, and Island Batik. These are their particular, and they call it summer rolls. Some of them call them something else, but like I said, Moda had the bake shop, and then they started on the names. So it's kind of like when you say Coke, I want a Coke. It's not really Coca-Cola you want a soda. So when somebody says jelly rolls, they really mean jelly rolls is Moda brand, but this one here is a pixie strip by RJR, and that's what they call their jelly rolls. And this has got 3 of some, 2 of other patterns, and 1 of others, and it has, I think it is 42. But so you get a variety of all the different ones.
And this particular length or size of fabric, what would this be ideal for using that
You
that
can
quantity?
make squares,
Mm-hmm.
so you can actually sew them together, cut them again, and flip them, and we will do that sometime. But you also have, I think the funnest thing we ever do, and I need to schedule one for this summer sometime, is a jelly roll race.
Mm.
So you come in, you have your jelly roll, and you go mark, get set, go, and everybody sews all of them together, and then they sew 'em, then they get to the end, and they cut 10 to 18 inches off, and they put the beginning and end together like that, and sew all the way, and then you have 2, and you do the end again, and then you have 4, and do it again, you have 8, do it again, you have 16, and when you get to 32, you have a really nice size in the middle, nice start on a throw, and add borders, and you're done. But what we do is we have prizes for the first person to sew all their strips together, and the last person to sew all the strips together. We give runner-up prizes for that, and it's not always the first person that gets all of them sewed together that wins. The next one gets the first one sewed together, and then we have the first and last for that, and then different prizes. It's really fun, and you can get a throw. I think the last time we did it, the first person that finished their thing without the borders was 45 minutes.
Jay should try that.
Jay should try that.
Yeah, well, when
He's
we have the
already
race, we'll have him come because he sews. Yeah, he sews.
I'm a great sewer.
He is, and he's fast.
I know. He
I'm
already got a spot at
impressed.
the table.
This is by another company, and see, they're packed different. This is the same thing, except for this only has 20, so it's a half one. And this particular company is Blank Quilting, and they call theirs Fabrications. So they're just named differently, like this would be Diet Coke and then whatever, instead of, but when somebody says jelly roll, they mean the 2.5-inch strips.
Nice.
So there's that. Any question? Oh, on my pre-cuts, I will make any pre-cuts that anybody wants. I have one I did last week, and I didn't have dies for it, so I had to hand cut it for her, but she needed some to do half square triangles, and it was 4 1/8 and 5 1/4 inch squares that she needed, and she didn't feel confident doing it, so we cut it for her. So we do any cutting you need. If you need a whole quilt cut out, or particular squares in your quilt, or you want a particular jelly roll, you want to do a jelly roll race, and you want leopard skins and our African prints. The only reason I guess I said that because I saw that. I'm just trying to think of something you would want, but theme-wise or color-wise or anything, any of the 10-inch squares we've done in themes. Somebody came and got a jelly roll, Betty Boop, one time. Mm-hmm. So if we have the fabric, or we can order the fabric, we'll do a theme for you.
So you're saying different stores and different places will rename their
Well,
rolls and
okay,
things to
manufacturers will rename them.
Okay, manufacturers.
Yeah. Technically, it's when you say jelly roll, it's a Moda name.
Right.
And when you say candy bar, it's Moda name.
Okay.
So that's yeah. So they name it, something different. Like All Batik calls these sushi rolls.
I was going to say that looks like sushi. The small one there that you've got in your hand.
Well, they have them
I kinda want
flat like
sushi for
this,
lunch now.
smaller, 20. When they have 20 strips, smaller than this, they call them sushi rolls. So they're
Hey,
Nice.
what are you doing for lunch today, Jay?
I don't know, but I'm eating something
Sushi?
real quick as soon as we get done with this. Yeah.
you guys are gonna want to go and eat.
And some jelly rolls and
Then we'll go down to McKee and pick up some honey buns.
right. So if you would like to get some of these items that you've seen today, you can
Can we do
go
this
to.
real
This
quick?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
my
go ahead.
giveaways?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have these are, I don't know if we can get close.
Punch cards?
These are punch cards. Ta-da! There we go. These are a little bit older, but we've got a stack of about 150, 200 left. And what we are doing when we get rid of them, we're doing some other things. But buy 10 fat quarters or 10 yards of fabric and get one free. It's 10 different visits. So if you come in and get a fat quarter and a yard, you can get a stamp on each one, and we just circle which one it is, your fat quarter or your yard card. And after 10 times, then you get a free one. The other thing that I'm excited about is we just got Mettler thread, two big racks, like lots of thousands of dollars worth of thread. That kind of hurt, but we got it. Mettler has where you save the little UPCs and put them on this card, and after you get so many, you send it in, and they send you whatever thread you want to try over here. So you click this and say you want a thread color chart, which is worth $10 each. You can get one, and you have all these places to put the UPCs in. And anybody who has bought Mettler from me in the last year, if they don't have their UPC still, I'll get them one for it. And these cards are on the way. They're not here yet, and they'll have my name right here, but these are showing the samples of the different labels. Cones or large spools or small spools. And the small spools, of course, you have to have 2 for each spot. And they have silk finished cotton, Ceracore, which is for serging, and big cones and variegated. And one more thing. I can go up here.
Okay.
We have a bunch of these magazines left, and if you buy $50 worth of product, then you get one of these free.
Nice.
So
Very
that's
cool.
our giveaways for the summer.
Nice. And if you want to go to Susan's store, you can go to Hyderhangout.com, check out her website, and you can also call her 423-715-2908, or swing by her store on the First Street Square across from the Catch Restaurant next to Trailhead Bicycle Company, and she can hook you up with a jelly roll, a sushi roll, a honey bun, a
charm,
and
many other things.
many other things. So, yeah. Anything else, Susan?
Not today.
And then Friday you said we were doing
Paper piecing.
Paper piecing. Josh, you're really going to miss out on that one.
Oh, is he leaving?
Josh
Yeah,
may not
yeah,
be in the
vacation.
studio on that day. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'll be paper piecing with you. So,
Yeah, and we'll have to let him figure out catch up or something.
yeah, we'll have a makeup day for Josh. So, all right. Well, stick with us. We have Pastor Kadeen Hinkson coming in with her segment, Empowered Living, in just a moment or so. So we will be right back after this very quick, brief commercial break.